Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast. Today is March 9th, 2022. Yes, it is a Wednesday morning around 11:30 for our weekly podcast, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by a top 5 lender in the United States, Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, Equal Housing Lender. 2289 is our NMLS number. With us on today's podcast, our special guest, we have Jacques Gagnon, Keller Williams Lakeside in Macomb County. Known Jacques a long time, known his dad for a lot longer. Jacques, good morning. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thanks a lot for having me. Hope all is well with everybody out there today.
Yeah, realtor extraordinaire out in Macomb County. Also with us today, our panel, Lisa Lawson. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, everybody.
Becky Alley. Good morning, Becky.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today on our wonderful podcast.
And Mr. John Kolb. How are you, John?
Hanging in there. Thanks for having me.
Yep. I don't know where Harvey went, but he's off the screen, but I'm going to dive right into it. And I talked to everybody, and today is going to be a monumental day. Like I said, it is March 9, 2022. Last time we talked this hardcore about interest rates was on January 19th on our podcast. I made the proclamation that we will never see interest rates. Oh, Harvey just joined us. Hi, Harv.
Good morning. Some audio problems.
Okay. January 19th, I proclaimed that interest rates will never be as low as we saw them in 2020 and 21. I think today, on March 9th, everybody, 2022, we need to have the reality check about what's going on, not only in our local market, but nationally and internationally. And as we know, Jacques, I'm going to drag you into this conversation because I like to have these deep conversations once in a while. And it goes like this. What's going on in Russia and the Ukraine is just furthering what's going on in the United States. There is runaway inflation. We talked about it being transitory. It is not. It is here to stay. Examples, Jacques, other than real estate and home prices, which we're going to get into, and we're going to get into with the panel, car prices and availability. That's been going on now for 2 years. That was before this war in the Ukraine. Gas prices steadily going up for the last 2 years. Okay, they're over $4 right now a gallon, going to $5. If anybody thinks it's going back down to $2 a gallon, it's not going to be $2 a gallon ever again. Interest rates going up. They might not go up monumentally from here because they're already over 4%, which really isn't a bad thing. But if you think they're going down to 2.5, they're not. And last but not least, Jacques, home prices. Reality is home prices, and I'm pretty pumped up, they're not coming down. They're going to go up. The values will go up slower than home prices, which means appraisers are going to be still behind. Those are two different things. Home prices and home values are two different things. Jacques, I'm bringing you into a deep conversation. I need you to be hardcore and real with me right now. Take it away for me, buddy.
So you're right. The gas prices, food costs, if you go grocery shopping for your families, people are seeing significant things. You go on Facebook right now, and the only thing you see is people taking pictures of what they paid at the pump. I think we're safe to assume we all know gas is up. It's not going anywhere. Prices are up. Inflation is going crazy. It's not going to slow down. When I do calls on my daily phone calls with clients, I hear it all the time is, I just want to wait until the prices drop or the market crashes. This idea of the market crashing in real estate is not going to happen. This idea of another 2008, it's not going to happen. The demand for homes is always going to outweigh the supply. We're forecasting, industry insiders are forecasting an even crazier year for demand than last year. So the bidding wars that we had last year are going to be even more intense this year. And I'm already seeing it with some of the buyers that I'm working with and with my listings. So the idea that we're just in a temporary bubble and it's going to burst soon, whether it's good or bad, it's only going to grow more. We're going to have costs increase throughout. We're going to have tighter payments at the pump, at the grocery stores, and at the closing table. So you have to really knuckle down, keep your expenses tight right now, and have to be wise with your money because it can go a long way, but it also can go very fast if you're not smart.
Excellent. Jacques, you're a street guy. I've got 4 street people on this podcast with us. We generally, not a rule, but generally see these consumers before you do. Okay, hopefully they're shopping with you after we get them pre-approved. But Lisa, you had a pretty crazy, awesome, hectic week last week. It's still continuing. Talk to us about what's going on in your world and what you're seeing with regard to the bids and the home prices and just the general sentiment of the consumers you're working with.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about, hopefully our clients are going to us first and getting that pre-approval before giving, Jacques or an agent that they're working with a call, but that's not always the case. And what's really sad is sometimes when it is the case, the pre-approval wasn't done properly or it wasn't done well. And, just last week I closed a deal that, I got a call in a panic. Pretty much they had a pre-approval. The pre-approval wasn't good. The way they structured the deal, they couldn't close it that way. And this person was supposed to literally close in a handful of days, and they didn't want to lose the house. So I think it's super important that people listen to what's happening. It's easy to jump to conclusions about a situation. And in this case, they were not selling their current home, or they didn't want to sell their current home prior to buying another one. They had to because of the type of loan that they were trying to get. So the other lender told them, no, you can have these 2 houses. And that wasn't the case. And, I think it's important to listen to the details and not jump to conclusions when you're dealing with clients. And, especially right now, being upfront and honest with them. We're in a rate increasing market. There is a housing shortage. It isn't going to be easy. And to piggyback off what Jacques said, the bubble, I hate to say it doesn't exist, but if it does exist, it's going to be a little blip, right? And maybe years down the road, we might have more like a correction. There is no, at the end of last year, everyone said, oh, I'm just going to wait till the end of the year. It's going to burst. It's going to burst. Well, that year has come and gone and nothing happened. It's only worse now than it was before. So, I think these people who have this wait and see and, it's going to get better. The rates will be better and the housing market will crash mentality are going to be sorely disappointed.
Yeah. Hey, Becky, Lisa brings up a great point. And I think today's the day that we have to talk. And we think we talk reality every single day. But when we have a forum like this, we really have to hammer it home. Lisa brought up a great point. At the end of last year, Becky Alley, because it was a little slower because of the holiday time, everybody thought, Becky, that home prices were going to start to come down. They're going up rapidly, faster at this time than last year. What are you feeling, seeing, hearing on the street? You're in the trenches every day. What's your take on what's going on right now?
Obviously, like if it's printed, it's outdated, right? So when they're saying this is going to happen, okay, well, that means that it's happened and it's happening, right? So the forecasts are, laid it out, but we are now living it, right? So the individuals that said, hey, this is too competitive, I'm going to bow out and I'm going to get back in the wintertime. Well, guess what? When they step back into the arena, they were met with higher housing prices and higher interest rates. So what does that mean? That everything that was maybe discussed with them 3-4 months ago is irrelevant because now they're looking at a completely different payment, right? The interest rates went up over a full percent in less than a month, right? Maybe I'll give it 30 days, right? So now more so than ever, the budgeting element comes into play. Like Jacques was saying, it's not even just about your grocery shopping, your gas, right? People are now seeing $100 at the gas pump, right? I remember, I had I think it was in 2006-07, gas was at $4.69, right? So we're seeing that kind of pinch everywhere. So when you're trying to buy a home in a competitive market, where you're at financially and the budgeting makes all the difference. And the days of the buyer driving the bus saying, I want to do this, that, and the other thing. Okay, we're going to listen to what you want to do. But in the reality, as a lender, we're here to part the C's and make a very clear path for you and your real estate agent on the direction that you need to walk in. And if you're not heeding that advice, you're going to be met with the situation that Lisa was met with, where a lot of people were saying, yeah. And guess what? It wasn't anything like that once a true professional sat down and took extra 5 minutes. And just, I want to point out real quick, I want everyone to know, do you know that it takes literally 5 seconds for someone to send a pre-approval letter? 5 seconds. You can do it on your phone. You can send it on your email, literally 5 seconds. So if you're speaking to someone and 5 minutes later, you have a pre-approval, there's something wrong with that, because there's no way that a true professional can give you real sound financial advice in 5 minutes. So if you are going for, like super speedy, fast, quick, we can do that. But I'd rather deal with someone that takes 5 extra minutes with me. So that way I have a loan that closes, because who cares what the piece of paper says that the loan doesn't close?
That's such a great point, Becky. I don't know anybody that can get a good workout in 5 minutes, or a 20-minute workout. Or
I've been
like
trying. I would figure it out by now.
it just doesn't happen that way. I know Harvey Freed's in really good shape, and I know he's working out for an hour and a half. All right. So there's no 5-minute workout there. John Kolb, it goes like this for me and you. We talk about it all the time. If you're looking to buy a car now, you got to turn in your lease or your car. You just got to, car prices and availabilities. Car prices aren't going down. Availabilities are not there. It's been like this now for 2 years. Reality tells me, John, that people who need to make a decision, they should have already sat down with a professional, a realtor like John, and everybody. This is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, equal housing lender. John, it goes like this for me and you. You can't make a decision in 5 seconds, but the bottom line is, the longer you wait, and we don't want to pressure anybody into making a decision, you got to have your homework done, but you can't wait any longer. Either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. There's no in the middle, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't be the days of sitting around waiting to 2-3 days to make a decision on if you want to put an offer on a home doesn't exist anymore. You got to put that offer in quick, listen to your professional in your lender and also in your realtor, because they, hopefully have your best interest at heart. And, I always tell people that, if you're that unsure, put an offer in so your name's in the hat. If they accept your offer, you don't have to countersign, or you can countersign and use the inspection period to, give a little bit of waiting period. Not what every realtor and or lender wants to hear, that, you're waffling all the way through an accepted purchase agreement. But if you have got that mindset where you need a couple more days to think on it, then listen to us about your contingency periods and go ahead and get the offer submitted, and then make a decision once that offer is accepted or not. I mean, you're never going to know unless you put the offer in. And if you don't put the offer in, you don't even have a shot at it. So that's my opinion on, you just got to make sure you're moving quick, and also leaving the timelines that you need to make decisions out there so that you can continue to wrap your head around what you just made an offer on.
Yeah, and I believe that more now than ever. And Harvey Freed, we'll turn over to Jacques after you and I get done. Harvey Freed, what's going on now is really a generational experience. And as I look at this podcast, I see Jacques, Lisa, Becky, you, me, John. You're looking at almost 150 years of experience. That's a lot of generations right there. This is, hey, John, I'll hit you up. I'm old. Okay, there you go. You don't have to say it. But what I can tell you, Harvey, is that what I mean by a generational time and experience, look at back in the 60s, and I alluded to this earlier, your parents bought a house in Oak Park for 10 grand. Okay. And then there were move up buyers going to maybe Southfield, Farmington Hills, whatever. And they were crazy buying houses for 35 and 40,000. And then in West Bloomfield or the northern suburbs for 50,000. Okay. And everybody said they were crazy then. Now houses that were selling 2 years ago for 400, 450 are now going for 800. That is a fact. Now, you and I, and even John, because he's old, not so much Becky and Lisa, and probably not Jacques, we're not telling people that they're insane. But this is a generational thing. This happens time and time again. You cannot buy a house in the neighborhood that you grew up in for the same price as your parents bought it. So I look at the home values, actually the home prices. That's what's happening now. We might think it's crazy, Harvey Freed, Jacques Gagnon, but that's what's happening in the market, Harvey.
Well, it's spilling over into all, things such as commodities. Gas is up. Goods and services have been up for the last couple of years. The interest rates, believe it or not, are actually a little bit better today than they were before the pandemic started in 2009. That January, February, March started off a pretty strong year. So there's just, as Jacques said, there's just a lot of buyers out there. And this lack of inventory is creating this lack of this frenzy of people wanting to overbid on the homes. And Harry, if there's 10 families out there bidding on a house, a handful of them, 2, 3, or 4 of them are willing to pay 20, 30, 80 or $100,000 over the appraised value. So it's just a matter of that's one thing for sure is the higher rates, the less inventory will slow down our market a little bit. And they're not going to need, hey, Jacques, we're not going to need your 2,000 real estate agents that are competing against you. And I don't need 2,000 loan officers who are sending out, as Becky said, wrong approval letters. They don't even make sense. It takes a while to qualify somebody. You got to get their documents. You got to ask some tough questions. Families who are out there in today's marketplace need to really build that professional team. And that's what we stress. There's just a huge difference between the qualified loan officers and real estate agents and the ones that are just new or not qualified to answer today's tough questions in this marketplace. So good luck. It's spilling over. Harry, it doesn't matter if it's gas or if you want to buy a car, as you mentioned, things cost a lot of money and there's supply chain issues. Even getting a house fixed up, if you want to get that roofer out there, they're not going to be able to start that project till probably midsummer. They're just a plethora of families wanting these goods and services.
Yeah, and that's a true statement, Harvey, because you know what? A little bathroom in my kitchen is going to take a year and a half, but I can't complain because at least we're going through it right now. At least I'm saving money by not moving. So Jacques, right now, I believe it's very important to get the truth out now more than ever. When you're dealing with your clients and you're giving them the hardcore truth, what is your go-to? What are you telling them right now? What is very important in your life that you're translating to your clients right now?
Well, the reality is again, we'll go back to it, is I hear it a lot because I deal with a lot of first-time home buyers. It's one of my specialties is, well, maybe we should wait until prices go down, or maybe we should wait. The reality is we did that last year in a lot of conversations with buyers. Prices aren't going down. Interest rates are going up. More money is going to need to be saved. Just know that if you sleep on it, and John, this goes back to your point, you're not going to sleep in it. So if you are serious about it's a very true statement. And I'm not one to use the inspection period for contingencies and pull out an offers, but you have to go in there with a game plan with your agent and your lender. So the only thing rockets are good for is going to the moon. I promise there's nothing good about getting a mortgage pre-approval. And if you come to one of my listings, which I have a few, it's going to be a very hard sell for me to take anything but a local lender that actually has reputable business. Harvey, to your point about our industry being over flooded with people right now, we're having a mass exodus, hopefully here, of agents and lenders. We don't have the inventory to carry the capacity that we have with everybody. So this market is going to change. It's going to help people like us, professionals like us, overachieve, but it's also going to clear out a lot of things. The best thing for the consumer is this time right now, because the consumer is going to get a better professional experience. But if you're thinking about buying a home, don't even click on Zillow. Don't click on that ad that says I can get you pre-approved in 4 minutes. You can't get anything done in 4 minutes, let alone a pre-approval that's actually going to get you to the finish line. You can have an idea of what you're pre-qualified for, and that's all cute and stuff, but there's no time for cuteness right now. If you're serious about buying a home, you have to have a serious pre-approval and work with a serious professional. If your real estate agent doesn't have off-market properties and is not going out knocking on doors in the subdivisions that you like, I throw my children in their stroller and I knock on doors. Hey, will you sell your home to my buyer? And I bring my kids along so I don't get shocked when I'm there because they're kind of cute. But if your agent's on the phone 30 hours a week calling off property market properties, then they're not doing you a service in this market. There is not enough inventory for what we have available. And people say it's going to drop. No, we're going to have 15, 20 offers. Maybe we'll have 8 offers, but that's still 8 offers more than what the idea of one house with one offer doesn't exist unless it's a very bad home. And if that's the case, it's not going to sell anyways. So that's the reality of it. It's a hard truth, and our industry is going to feel the pain. But if you work with someone that's ready for it, I cannot wait for this change because it's going to make my business blossom, and you're going to shine through. The good ones will always shine through in the end. So
yeah, I love that. Jacques Gagnon, Carol Williams, Lakeside Realty, Macomb County. If you take anything away from this podcast, everybody, Jacques Gagnon, and this is a quote: "If you're going to sleep on it, you're not going to sleep in it." We love that. We might even steal that from you, my man.
That was perfect.
That was really good. And also, what you're really saying to me, Jacques, is, hey, listen, what you're telling people is the truth, and the fact of the matter is that if you're not working with somebody that's been in all types of markets, I'm telling you right now, Lisa, Becky, John, Harvey, myself, we've been in this business when interest rates were 9 and 10%. Okay, we're lifers. We're going to be in it if it goes up to 9 or 10%. There's only one reason. We're like Officer and a Gentleman. We got nowhere else to go. Okay, this is what we do because Lisa eats, sleeps, and drinks this business as Becky, John, Harvey, and I do. And I know you do, Jacques, because this is what we got. And if you're not dealing with a professional, and we're talking reality now, too many people made too much money in the industry the last 2 years that didn't know what they were doing. Well, you need somebody that's going to sustain those relationships and knows what they're talking about. Lisa, you've been doing this for a long time. And I'm so glad you brought Jacques on this. Macomb County has been one of the hottest areas. I know nobody can tell you how long is this going to last. Nobody really knows. But for the foreseeable future, we're talking about at least the next couple of years, it's going to stay hot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, new construction in Macomb County is like off the charts. People, they put list a house that's in decent condition. They get multiple offers within a day or two. I mean, there's a lot that Macomb County has to offer. Sometimes I think in the beginning it was kind of the forgotten county, but that really shouldn't be the case. There's so much to do and see here. And Jacques will attest to that. We've got a great school districts as well. But, the properties aren't lasting. And the only way you can be a player in the game is to be prepared and ready, which means you have to have a real pre-approval, means you have to actually physically send documents to a lender. You have to have that lender review them. And that might take a minute. It might take a day or two. You just have to be patient. Depends on your situation, but then that when you get to the table, you're going to be closing, that you're not going to have something saying, oops, well, something changed and oops, we made a mistake. Like what happened to my buyer buying a home in Rochester, thought he was closing in 3 days. And the answer was, oops, we made a mistake. So his $950,000 dream home was put on hold until we could fix it. So you need to work with reputable people. Everybody sitting on this panel, this is what we do. We're not part-timers. We don't do anything else. This is what we've dedicated our lives to do, is to help people get into homes, and we want to help you. So it's that simple.
Yeah. Hey, Jacques, I'm going to give you to Becky Alley now. Listen to this one. Okay, Becky will tell you she's ABAT&T. She's all business all the time. It's what we do, all business all the time. And Becky, you cover a wide swath of metropolitan Detroit. What are you seeing? I know you're on the phone with realtors every single day. Is there a panic mode? Are you seeing a weeding out process, or are the people that you're dealing with really accepting this challenge and really embracing it?
On the professional side, yes, I feel like people are rising to the occasion. I do think that, like you've talked about, we've all been doing this a really long time. I'm going on 19 years in the business. I was really young, getting in here, right? But be that as it may, you are seeing that the agents that are going to shine through, they are rising to the occasion. They are trying to educate themselves. They are trying to understand what their clients need to do to get their offers accepted. And they are truly understanding the importance of getting with a lender that makes sense and is going to see these details. The buyers, now on the buyer side, sometimes they have to get burned, unfortunately, because they think that they know better, unfortunately. And it's not a knock on anyone, right? Because it's a big investment. You want to be a player, you want to be in the driver's seat, and you want to have that proper communication. But that's when you have professionals that are on your side, you're going to feel like that from day one. So if you're not feeling like you're being heard, then you need to probably switch directions, whether lender, real estate agent, but that doesn't mean that you're going to call a bunch of people till someone tells you what you want to hear, right? We're here to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, because our job is to get you to the finish line. An example, I had a buyer came across me from an agent. They were gung-ho, looking at houses. They got pre-approved super fast. It was actually a local lender, to be honest with you. And then I got a phone call saying that they were about to make an offer, and all of a sudden someone said, pump the brakes, because they were busy, right? The lender was busy, and they sent a pre-approval letter for an FHA client. And then when they got a little bit more serious and they were narrowing down a house, only then did they realize that there were some student loans in default that I was going to prevent them from purchasing an FHA mortgage. So now I'm stepping in to try to undo some damage that should have been caught in the very beginning, right? So this whole verb of I'm busy, right? Get that out of your vocabulary. It's not about being busy. Everyone's busy, right? I feel like if you want something done, give it to a busy person, but people are using that as a crutch now, and you need to give it to someone that is productive. So instead of busy, you need to get with someone that's productive, that can handle the details, it doesn't matter if they're dealing with 100 people or 5 people, you're going to feel like you're the only client, and you're going to see the difference when you realign yourself with high caliber professionals.
It's funny, Becky, and moving into John, but it's funny, Becky, that we never think we're busy enough. Even when we're really busy, you're never really busy enough. Jacques never has too many listings or too many buyers. Harvey never has too many loans. Lisa has never too many pre-approvals. Becky and John, we never have too many people that want our services. I don't know. I never feel like I'm ever too busy. John, what I have noticed, though, in the pre-approval and the multiple bid offer situation right now, I actually had a realtor call me at 10:30 at night on Sunday night and said, don't tell anybody, and Jacques, listen to this, don't tell anybody, but we're going to go with your offer because A, we know you've been in business a long time. We know that as a lending institution, you're very reputable. And last but not least, we know you can get it done within a reasonable period of time, John. I think that matters to realtors. I think when they get 5 offers, they look at the 5 different pre-approvals, and Jacques, back us up here. I think, John, they look at it and they go, well, if it comes from this lender, we're not going to take it. Here's our first choice, and then here's our backup. I mean, help me out here.
Yeah, this is true. So the whole idea of the highest and best, which is, and if you don't know, if this is your first time tuning in, highest and best is usually what you see a lot on listings. Bring your highest and best offer. If the lender isn't reputable, I will always pass, because reality is there's too many shifting things that happen on a daily basis. We go back to the beginning of COVID when people were starting to lose their jobs. When you lose your job, you lose your pre-approval. You're not qualified. So working with lenders that you can call and ask, constantly have a communication line with, is very important. So not just your offer, the highest price isn't always the best. It's also who you're working with. And again, if you're trying to go to the moon, then get on a rocket. But that's the only reason why you should do something like that, because I would need to be able to call Lisa at any time. I need to be able to call Harvey at any time and say, hey, I have this question for you as a listed agent or as a buying agent. If you cannot do that, and you don't have the communication with your lender, then you're not working with the right team. There's not enough inventory to play patty cake. There's really not. You're going to get your heart broken multiple times.
I appreciate that. Roberto Moshane, our producer, director here on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. We got 2 more minutes left. John, I'm going to give you last minute. Harvey, and then Jacques, you wrap it up. So, John Kolb, go ahead. What are you finding out about these pre-approval situations?
I'm not too worried if there's 2,000 lenders in my area because I know I'm better than 1,999 of them. So, you can have all the crap lenders out there, or I should say we are all better than 1,999 of them.
Yeah.
You can have all those crap lenders out there, and it doesn't matter. It just shows how much better we are than they are. But yeah, like you said, right now we got to make the extra effort. Do you want me to call that listing agent to tell how great my client is? Do you want me to provide my cell phone for, a real estate agent on the weekends to be able to ask me questions? The answers to all those are yes. So, and we do that. Like Harry said, he had a call on Sunday night at 10. I called out to a realtor on Sunday for a pre-approval to let them know what a great client he was. So we'll do everything we need to. We're professional. We know how to get it done. We're better than the rest. If you want to come into this game,
we got to wrap it up. John, Harvey, give me a quick 30 seconds. Then Jacques, hurry up. I'm getting the sign from Roberto. I apologize.
Call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE. Get that real approval letter. It's got to be a real one. Vented. Make sure you get all your documents in. Go.
I love it. I love the podcast. Jacques Gagnon. This has been a great podcast. Jacques Gagnon. Keller Williams Lakeside. Take it away.
Mute.
Nope. He's
Looks
on
like
mute.
we're done, ladies and gentlemen. Is that right? All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast for March 9th. It was the best one of the year. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good